the endless flow of digital signals and social exchanges, most chase attention as though collecting it will solidify their place. Yet the opposite holds true. The more visibly you need others to notice you, the less regard you tend to receive. When attention becomes something you no longer pursue, people begin to adjust their posture toward you, subtly, unconsciously, but consistently. Respect increases not from louder presence, but from visible detachment from the need for it. You have likely felt both sides of this equation already. The quiet deflation when your message sits unread. The faint surprise when someone suddenly reaches out after you stopped reaching first. This is not random social luck. It follows precise psychological mechanics. Attention functions as a scarce commodity in human interaction. In what researchers describe as the attention economy, every person is both supplier and consumer of focus. When you flood the market with your availability, constant replies, quick initiations, visible eagerness, you devalue your own currency. Oversupply lowers perceived worth. The moment you reduce supply, scarcity takes effect. Others register the change immediately, even if they cannot articulate why. Scarcity is one of the oldest triggers for assigning value. What is rare feels more significant. Your restraint becomes a signal of higher calibration. This scarcity also communicates autonomy. A person who does not require external validation appears structurally stable. They do not lean on the group for emotional equilibrium. In social hierarchies, whether professional, romantic, or casual, perceived autonomy raises status. People unconsciously recalibrate their estimation of you the instant they sense you are no longer orbiting their attention. The less you depend on their gaze, the more space opens for deference. Social leverage operates through the same channel. Approval-seeking behavior creates visible asymmetry. You invest more emotional energy than the other party. That imbalance tilts power downward. The person being chased holds leverage because they can choose to respond or not, while the chaser remains tethered to the outcome. Reverse the pattern, and leverage reverses. When you stop chasing, the other party begins to feel the absence. Their nervous system registers a small threat to social standing. Something valuable may be slipping away. They move to close the gap. Respect is often just the behavioral adjustment that follows. Observe your own recent interactions. You open an app, refresh for a reply that has not arrived. The slight tightening in the chest follows. You type another message to keep the thread alive, hoping momentum will return. Later, you notice they respond faster to someone else. Someone who did not double text, who left space. That contrast stings because it reveals the mechanism at work. Over-investment lowers position. Unequal effort breeds resentment in the giver and subtle dismissal in the receiver. The anxiety of being ignored is not random. It is feedback from a system that punishes visible dependence. When you give attention without reciprocity, long messages, frequent check-ins, remembered details offered too freely, you train others to expect it without cost. They begin to treat your focus as background noise rather than something earned. The pattern repeats until invisibility sets in. Yet, the moment you withdraw, not dramatically, not angrily, just methodically, the dynamic flips. Replies arrive faster, questions come your way. Interest reappears where indifference lived. This is not manipulation. It is the natural consequence of removing a previously guaranteed resource. Psychologically, humans are drawn toward what does not chase them. Evolutionary logic favors investing energy in pursuits that require effort. Easy access lowers estimated fitness value. The same principle applies socially. Emotional self-sufficiency reads as strength. A person who can direct their own attention inward projects control over their internal state. That control is magnetic because most people experience the opposite. Scattered focus, reactive mood, dependence on external cues. Your restraint becomes contrast. Contrast commands attention. Reduced availability further amplifies this effect. When contact is predictable and constant, it loses potency. Sporadic, deliberate presence carries weight. People begin to anticipate your input rather than take it for granted. Anticipation builds perceived value. The less predictable your engagement, the more mental real estate you occupy. This is why pulling back often produces an uptick in curiosity, effort, even admiration. The system rewards what is withheld. Respect grows most reliably around self-directed behavior. When your attention flows toward your own objectives, projects, routines, learning, physical training. Others register independence. They sense you are not waiting in their orbit. That absence of orbit creates gravitational pull in the opposite direction. They begin orbiting you. Power follows scarcity, not availability. Chasing attention signals deficit. Restraint signals surplus. The behavioral shift is straightforward once the pattern is visible. First, stop leading every conversation. Let others initiate at least half the time. When they do not, allow silence to remain. Do not fill it. Second, give attention selectively. Respond thoughtfully, but not instantly. Match investment levels rather than exceed them. Third, break the validation checking habit. Turn off read receipts when possible. Set fixed windows for checking messages twice a day, for example, and protect those boundaries. Fourth, redirect focus inward. Build daily blocks of uninterrupted work on something that belongs to you alone. The deeper your immersion, the less mental bandwidth remains for external approval. Pulling back requires no drama. Maintain calm neutrality. Do not ghost, punish, or signal resentment. Simply become less automatically accessible. Let your presence feel earned rather than guaranteed. Control access by deciding when and how you engage, always from your own center. Over weeks, these micro-adjustments compound. Others begin to treat your time and attention with more care because you do. Layer by layer, the realization settles. Neediness was quietly lowering your position the entire time. Independence does not make you cold, it makes you legible as someone who stands without leaning. People respond to that legibility with deference, not because you demanded it, but because the social arithmetic now places you higher. In time, the dynamic stabilizes. You occupy space without effort. Attention arrives not because you chased it, but because you stopped needing it. Respect becomes the default response to someone who has calibrated their own value system above the pull of external validation. This is not detachment for its own sake, it is precision in how attention is allocated. And precision, in social physics, carries authority. Remain observant. Notice when the impulse to reach out arises, and notice what follows when you let the impulse pass instead. Each time you choose restraint over reaction, the mechanism reinforces itself. The less you grasp, the more solidly you stand.